Hey, good morning. I cannot see the chat today because I'm on my phone. Hey, maybe I can. Chef Sketty, hey, how are you? I'm just porch sitting today. Hey, T&J Homestead, good to see you. We're in the middle of thunderstorms this morning, so couldn't get the computer working right, so I'm on my phone. But we'll try this and see how it works. So this is the front porch. This is my tiger oak mantle that is going to go in my house when we finish the remodeling. In case anybody's wondering, mantelpiece. It is quite old, just like the house, but it'll look great in it. So how is everybody doing? I just yesterday evening got back from California. Well, I say California, but I was in many states, seems like, for a week. So this is the catch-up. That was a backfire on a car, not a gunshot. Since I'm out on the front porch, we might hear some cars going by, some noise. We might hear some thunder and lightning. That's been happening the last few minutes. But it is so nice to get back to something green. Of course, of those of you who live in California and Nevada, I was in California, Arizona, and Nevada all in one day. And then, and I was in Charlotte, North Carolina also. Good morning. How are you? Hey, Treasure Woman. How are you? So I hope my family is getting rest. The family that hosted our celebration of life for our brother, and also the family. I'm good, Treasure Woman. I'm good. I got a little bit of rest last night. I came in late in the afternoon after flying all day. And I was teasing when the night before we went to bed about 11:30. Got up at 2. Well, I kind of got up at 1:30 because I couldn't sleep any longer. Got up, went to the airport to catch, I say I got 3 hours sleep. I don't think I really did. But, so we went to the airport at 3 a.m. My brother-in-law took me, and then flight was delayed an hour. Someone got very ill by the time they got on the plane. Between boarding and a half an hour later, someone was so ill. Once we started taxiing, we had to turn around and go back to the gate. And then they unloaded the person that was ill. So that put us an hour behind. So when we got to Charlotte, yes, Chef says I'm doing great. Lots of travel always makes me feel tired. Hey, Charlie Grace. So when I got to Charlotte, my plane arrived like when they were boarding the other plane. And then it was a 15-minute walk for a normal person, but not with a person with a bad knee. So I got to the gate and they said that they had already closed boarding. And I thought, oh man. And the attendant said, I've been waiting on you. I saw your plane was like, hurry up. They still got the door open. So I made the flight. So by the time I got home, and y'all know, in a 4.5 hour, I can't even remember what it was, plane flight, you know, they don't serve food anymore. They don't serve anything anymore. You can get a soft drink, a water, or coffee, and two little tiny baby cookies, or a little handful of pretzels. Thank you. Thank you, Joy Bless Life. How are you? Yes, this is my antique fireplace. It's tiger oak, and it is going into my living room once we finish the remodel of our 1936 house. So we're in the middle of that right now. But anyway, so I got a cup of coffee at 4 a.m. And you know those little ginger cookies? They're about this big. I had two of those. And of course, the night before, we got a late start in Vegas because my sister took me. Oh yeah, you get really hungry. I had snacks, but it was 3 a.m. and I didn't think pulling out the pepperoni would make anybody really like me, which I really wasn't. Hey Margie, nice to see you. Nice to see you. So we went to a play. Have y'all ever heard of this? Okay, it's backwards. It's called Menopause the Musical. This was the most hilarious musical I've ever seen. Yeah, I mean that small, Donna. So we went to the musical. We did eat at a place we really wanted. You know how you build up in your mind, you want to eat at a place, and it's like, okay, I gotta say, I've at least eaten there one time. We went to Gordon Ramsay's Fish and Chips, and we split a box because I eat really small portions, and so does my sister. So we split a box. And by the time we got done with the box, it was $27 for three little pieces of fish and some dirty fries, what they call dirty fries. And what else was in there? Just the two sauces that we used, I guess. And I got a bottle of water and she got a drink. $27.99 or something. But I was really disappointed. She was too. It was very pricey. Everything over there was like triple of what it should normally be. So you might as well, hey Henderson family, how are you guys? So you might as well say that we got a little bit of food for an awful lot of money, and we were kind of disappointed because the fish was very greasy, and I know it's deep fried. Okay, so you expect it to be a little bit, but we got like, okay, I'm gonna show you. We got two pieces that were probably maybe 3 inches long and really fat pieces, and then we got one that was so small I thought it was just a piece that broke off of the other one. So our three pieces of fish, so okay, I say we ate at Gordon Ramsay's Fish and Chips in Las Vegas, and it's not something I probably will repeat. It just, it's like I could have had a corn dog, I guess, but I mean, even that, you pay $10 for a corn dog and a fry, if you get a fry. So, but I mean, I guess I'm just cheap. But I mean, we were trying to conserve because I wanted to go down to pull the one-armed bandits a little bit. And so, yeah, I left with a little bit of money. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, $19.99 for three pieces of fish. That paid for the fish. So you pay an extra $3 if you wanted the fries. Hey, how are you, Nisi? I'm glad you're doing good. So yeah, the $19.99 was $3. That was for the three pieces of fish. Another $3 for the French fries, or 5 or 6. I lose track. Joy Bless Life. I'm not into fancy food. Husband Donnie. Okay, it disappeared. Fish is awesome at Ducky's in Cayucas, California, on the beach. She says Donna's been there many times. So we just wanted to have some authentic fish and chips, we thought. But Okay, so that didn't work out too good, but we did stop at a place called it's the Cupcake Guy from New York. I forget his name. I'm telling you, I am a brain fog because I haven't had a lot of sleep, and I slept for a solid 8 hours, and that's really unusual for me. So last night I did get 8 hours of solid sleep. So maybe I don't look like I've not had any sleep. But so when I arrived at home, I thought I had 3 hours of sleep, and then I lost 3 hours of time because of the time change. So I think I'm working in the minus. But I did 8 hours of sleep last night was good, and it's rainy today, and it seems like it's oh yeah, Donna says it's Buddy, the cake guy. He makes cupcakes and stuff. Well, he had several restaurants there, and one was pizza, and you got your cake out of a vending machine, which is really odd for me. Um, you know, you don't know how long it's been in that vending machine. Um, but we didn't try the cake. They did buy a piece of slice of pizza for the little one that was with us, and it's hard to pay $5 for a 12-ounce drink. Um, so we didn't waste any of it. Oh man, and you know what they did on the airplane? I had a water bottle. Y'all gonna know where this is going. And I mean, I had this much, and I had been drinking it because I'd just been so thirsty. It's been 116 in when we got to Vegas, and I had been drinking it. Well, they hurried you along, and you get up on the conveyor. Well, of course they pulled me aside and said that they could either walk me back outside and pour the water out, or I could throw the container away. But to walk back outside seemed like it was a couple of miles, and I thought, are you kidding me? I'm not walking back outside after I went through all of that trouble to go in and out and find the gate and find the security in Las Vegas. I thought, no, I'll just have to buy me a new one. So yeah, they wouldn't even let me swallow the last little dab. I mean, if I realized it before I put my bag up there, I could have went ahead and swallowed the last swallow of water, but they wouldn't let me even do that. I guess they thought it might be poison or something, and they don't want to be responsible for somebody keeling over there. Joy Bless, I get no ice in my drinks. 2 reasons. It hurts my teeth, and that's right, you get more. I always ask, even at home, I always ask for no ice because it takes me so long to drink it that it's watered down, and I don't like watered down drinks. So, but it was an interesting, before I even left Augusta, I got searched. They actually patted me down, and I'm thinking, do I look like the type of person that would be carrying drugs or something? I honestly don't know, but I went through, and there's 3 hot spots on my body. One on my right ankle, one on my left hand, and one on my stomach area region. And the lady says, are you carrying anything? And I said, well, no, I put it all on the conveyor belt, dummy me. I didn't know what she was talking about. I haven't flown in 10 years. And she says, no, are you carrying anything? And I said, no. And she says, well, do you have anything tucked away in your waistband or your pants? Yeah, I don't like watered down fruit drinks or soda either, Joy. I just soon drink water. Um, and no, they wanted to know if I was carrying anything. She explained to me she was going to be touching me sometimes with the back of her palm and sometimes with the front of her palm, that she was going to be lifting and moving parts, and I thought, you kidding me? I didn't even get away from home, and you're searching me. And I've got these. I looked at my diagram where I went through and got X-rayed, and there's a red spot on my ankle, and there's a red spot on my hand, and a red spot on my stomach. And I guess she just thought, you've got to be packing something. And she searched me, even my hair. She searched me, and then she took this little piece of I guess it was like a little cotton wipey thing, and she must have had something on it that would detect drugs. And so she started rubbing my hands, both my hands, and front and back, And there's a little nice little German Shepherd. He was a beautiful German Shepherd sitting right there, but he didn't come over to me and start sniffing of me. He just sat there. So apparently I wasn't, he wasn't bothered about me. They were more bothered than the dog. And so they did all of this, and then they took the little wand and it came out with nothing. But honestly, she touched every part of my body. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have never been searched like that before. So when I go back, when I finally get to my sister's house, and my son came a couple of days later, and he says, Mom, didn't you go in the beehives a couple of days before you left? And I said, yeah, I'd had to check out the beehives. Well, apparently, when you light your smoker on the beehives, there's this burlap stuff, and it's called hemp. Y'all get it? And you light it and you put it in the smoker, and and I use my left hand to puff the billows so that I can get it going. So whatever was in that smoker must have been on my hand or my watch. So just a little warning, if you're going to fly, don't go into the beehives a couple of days before. Oh yeah, you have artificial joints, Nisi. You're always patted down. Yeah, see, and that's what I told my kids, because they were coming on the plane on Friday. I went out on Tuesday. And so I said, my daughter's had knee surgery twice, and she's got titanium screws. And I said, well, be prepared to be, touched. They're going to pat you down because you're going to have some highlights. And you know what? They didn't even try. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. But when I left Las Vegas, they let me walk around the x-ray machine. That's when they took my bottle with a couple of swallows of water in it. And they let me walk around it and didn't even x-ray me. It's like, I guess they were glad to get rid of me. I don't know. So that was kind of interesting. Our weather was anywhere from 104 to 116 or 117. So it was quite unusual. I've been in Las Vegas. I went to Arizona. Then I went to California. Then I went back to Las Vegas and North Carolina. So I've been many places in the last week. In all of that, it was so nice. We got to visit with my sister, my brother's daughter that we lost. We lost the dad. So we got to visit with my two younger brothers and me and my sister. So there was 5 of us. We just sat down one night and went through old pictures, and it was so nice. Hey, Danny, how are you? Oh, yes, they were safe. Yes, I won a little bit of money. My sister said, I'm not going to gamble. She said, you got better luck than I do. She said, I'm just going to watch. And one of my daughters, well, my only daughter, she won a little bit on one of the machines, and she got up. So I sat down, and then I won some off of that machine. And the machine I got up from, my son sat down at it, and he won some that I did. I didn't win anything on that one, but he won it after I sat down. I told him he had to, if he won big, he's going to have to split it with me. But I don't think he even told me what he won. So yes, I won a little bit. So I didn't come home broke. I probably came home even, but I didn't come home broke. But it was so nice to visit all of the friends and relatives. Oh, Donna said, you sure did. She gave me a few bucks, and I did double it. And I tried to give it back to her, and she wouldn't take it back. So be sure and tell him that, Donna. But I did. I tried to give it back to her, and she said no. When I was in Vegas, went to every single casino, never got to play because I was too young. Always had to stay in the red path. Yes, and if you, yeah, that's a good thing, Gary. How are you? I didn't come home broke. So it's like, well, I would feel really bad if I came home broke because I didn't go with that much, because it was very spur of the moment. When you lose someone, it happens. You don't have a lot of planning time, and of course, it's never when you get paid, always something else. But the best part was that we got to spend time with family that we had not seen. My brother's daughter lives in Colorado, and I had not seen her in at least 20 years. Because every time I went to California to see her dad, she was not there. You know, she's only 10 years younger than me, so she's a grown woman, but we have never touched paths in all these years. So it was really special to get to spend time with her. When we were children, she was always with us. When in the photos that we looked at while we were talking, chatting that evening, there was so many photos, and we were all five in it. So we kind of we had a meeting of five. Hey, Miss Southern Belle, it's so good to see you. So trip was all in all, it was wonderful. I was able to get up in front and say a few words. My children were too. The youngest one had a little harder time, and so the oldest son. Yeah, it's good to see you too, Miss Southern Belle. My youngest son had a little hard time, so my older son read what he wrote a very nice eulogy, and there was not a dry eye in that place. That's okay, Gary. You can lurk anytime. And everything he said, my older son really, they both the boys, they Jack treated them the same, and he taught them the same lessons when they spent time there. My daughter was able to go to Spain with him. He chaperoned her class, a high school class, and my husband and I also went. So, because you know there was 30 people at that trip to Spain, but when we were done, my nephew sat behind. Yes, I did find a great price, Miss Southern Belle. My nephew behind me, he's a California highway patrolman, and I really, he said, I'm so glad that my son was able to read what he wrote, what the younger one wrote. He said, you know, I was sitting there listening to it, and I realized that that was my story too. He said, Uncle Jack treated me the same way he treated your boys, and we did the same thing. We had the same lessons. He taught them to shoot ground squirrels, and he told them he'd pay them a quarter apiece. And my older son says, yeah, he made a whole quarter that summer, and that was his first job. So things did work out. You know, the airline, I don't know why. I guess, you know, it's just the way times are right now. But not only if they give you a good flight price, then you pay extra. Of course, the gas was $7 to $8 a gallon. For those of you who live in California, you know exactly how expensive it is there. We pay in the 450 range in Georgia, so it was quite a difference. But the food, oh my gosh, there is nothing, even a single entree that you can get that's not at least $10 to $15. And so if you want a drink, you're $5 to $8 for a drink, $10 for a coffee. So it's hard to enjoy it when you have to pay so much. Of course, we were in. There was a really bad accident over in the Mojave Desert near what is it? The space where the space shuttle comes in. I can't remember now what it was called. Donna will remember that. But anyway, near in the Mojave Desert, 117 degrees. But I mean, we were in a traffic jam because a 18-wheeler was laying on both sides of the road, and people were, what'd you say, good prices, and tell them you're going to a funeral. They would not discount age. They wouldn't discount anything else. When you get tickets off a Priceline, they figure they're already giving you a break, and so you only get breaks like that if you go to the airline itself. But then you they take it off of the base price, which you don't do as well anyway. So yeah, it's crazy with the food, and we I tried to be as economical as I can. We split meals, and because you know when you pay $30 for a meal, I can't eat $30. And the buffets, they say the buffets are really good in Las Vegas, but I can't eat $30 worth of food, in one sitting. And they don't serve supper anymore, or I guess some of y'all call it dinner, but we call it supper here. But they don't serve, they only serve from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. for the buffets. Now there's a few that are open a long time. Yeah, we're in a big recession, aren't we? Oh my gosh. And so but I guess it's time to tighten the belt. I don't know. You have to economize somewhere. And me, I'm always thinking about where I'm going to economize, um, because I try not to pay for something unnecessary when you can get a better price. So you should look for the best price. And when you're going to a service, or and you have a loss of life, you try not to think about it, but you still need to. But let me tell you about, I got tracked. When I arrived in Las Vegas, of course, everything's turned off, on the airplane, so you don't know it. So I arrived in Las Vegas. My sister-in-law, which is the one, she lost her husband, she picks me up at 9 o'clock at night. So we're out in the middle of the desert, and all of a sudden on her car and my phone, it says that we're being tracked. And it was a little scary, because here's two ladies out in the middle of the desert, and she said, "Is there anybody behind us? Hey, Gail, how are you?" I know Texas is having some hot weather too. Georgia's not this week, but I just came from California, and it definitely 117, 110. I mean, that was normal. But we were being tracked in the desert, and it ever so often it would pop up and say something about tracking. So yeah, it's 3 hours difference. Uh, 3 hours difference in California. But so we were being tracked. Yeah, y'all hit that thumbs up. I tell you, I earned it this time, because as many miles, I've been 4,000 miles in a week at least. But we were being tracked all the way to my sister-in-law's house, and she lives in Bullhead City, Arizona. And she gave me her internet code, and I thought it was because I was on her internet, and something was tracking us, but it kept popping up, but it would only stay for a second, so I couldn't ever read it all, so I wasn't sure what it was. It would ping, and by the time I'd get my phone out of my pocket or wherever I had it, it was gone, so I couldn't really tell what was tracking us. And then the next day we get in her car, and we're driving. We got to drive to Bakersfield then, and it's a 5-hour drive. And on the way, we stop for something to eat, and it says it's tracking us again. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, it's still tracking us." So we didn't know who was tracking us. We had no idea, because it would pop up on the phone, it would be gone. So before I could read it, it would be gone. Got all the way into Bakersfield, and I was telling my brother-in-law and sister, and my niece was there, and she says, "Aunt Linda, let me look at your phone." And she's kind of, she's not tech challenged like I am. So she starts flipping through, and she goes, "AirTag, does somebody put an AirTag on you?" And I said, "I don't know what it is." And she said, "No, it says AirTag." She said, "Do you want me to disable it?" And I said, "No, wait a minute. Let me think." And she starts talking about it, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, it's my son. He gave me his GoPro bag. He said, 'Here, in case your phone doesn't work for your lives or whatever, you want to take pictures.'" It was his GoPro. He put one of those AirTag trackers, so in case somebody stole his phone, his GoPro, that he would be able to tell where his phone was at. So he was tracking me, and I don't know. Hey, Kettle Kitchen, how you doing, Tony? So I don't know why it was popping up on her car and her phone. So whatever it was. So my son back in Georgia was tracking his GoPro bag, and it was in my book bag. It wasn't in the suitcase, it was in my book bag. But it showed wherever I walked. If I walked all over her house, dragging my suitcase up and down the stairs and it down the halls, and I kept thinking, oh yeah, it was hilarious once we figured it out. And I couldn't wait to tell her that it wasn't a stranger tracking us, it was my younger son tracking his camera. So, and I remember him saying, "Oh, I'm going to put this tracker on my wallet because I always lose my wallet and keys." And he says, and I put one in the camera bag. Well, I didn't even dawn on me what it really was. But so he tracked me all the way to California, and they all thought it was funny because we were getting a little bit concerned that we were being tracked. And for somebody who doesn't travel a lot on the airlines, and I think it has been maybe more than 10 years, maybe 12 since I flew. So all this new stuff was totally, but yeah, it was a, hey, Belinda and Chuck, is this Chuck or Belinda today? So all through this, through the airports. He could tell where I was at. And he said, besides, he said, if you fell down, I would know it. Or if you got lost or somebody took you, I would know where to find you. So I thought that was real sweet. But it was a little scary in the beginning to see we were being tracked and we didn't know why we were being tracked. Because especially from the airport, it's like, oh my gosh, somebody, you hear about human trafficking and all this, and all we could think of is somebody is following us. Yes, about the young child, my sister's great grandson. Say no, I guess it would be grandson. No, great grandson. He is nonverbal autistic, and they have a tracker on him. And so then, in case he wanders off, then they'll be able to find him. So the trackers are great. I knew about that type of tracker, but I didn't know, being tracked from the airport. So, I mean, I guess it gave me a little bit of something to think about besides the loss of my brother. But, being tracked was tough. It was, but now I know, and I'm not worried that somebody's tracking me. So if the kids are tracking me, then that's what I need. Yeah. Well, uh, Casey did tell me. He told me that he put that tracker in his camera bag, but it just didn't dawn on me that I don't know. I guess I'm just naive about it, but I don't know why it picked up on her phone, and it picked up on her car because it actually popped up. It wasn't just tracking me; it was tracking her when I got with her. So she has one of those smart cars where it's got like a TV in it almost, and you can just talk to it and tell it where to go and all that. So some of you may have seen cars like that. I haven't, but it popped up on her screen like they were tracking her. So, I mean, but yeah, it kind of livened it up a little bit for us. But we had a great visit with family. The service was absolutely beautiful. And I've got some pictures. I think I'll do a little slideshow and put up of some of the pictures. Try to leave, the people's faces out because not all of them maybe want to be, in a picture. But the decorations, everything was really nice, really nice. And it was a great send off for him. And like I told him in my speech, he did this one last thing for us all. He got us all together, and some of us had not been together for more than 20 years. So that was something that was just like him to take care of all of us, and he did. He took care of all of us. He made sure that his younger siblings always had the best start in life, and if we needed help, he gave us a hand up. He never gave us a hand out. And so he always would teach us why he was giving us something, and there was always terms on, what to pay it forward. So Donna says they have two. The angel something. Well, it went away. the comments go away so fast I can't read them. But yes, Donna has 2 trackers on their little one, just because of his handicap. He cannot tell anyone who he is. He does have a tag on his harness that we keep on him, because he will run. He'll just dart out in front of people, not realizing, because he stays constantly. Oh, you're high functioning autistic Asperger's. Okay, I didn't know that, Joy. But this little one, he is nonverbal, autistic, and so on the spectrum, he cannot communicate. He does make sounds, but he does not communicate with anyone other than he can touch you or show you where he wants to go. He will take your hand and drag you where what he wants. So he can communicate that way, but not verbally. So yeah, the trackers are great, absolutely great, for instances like that. But I guess they're great for the older people too, because I mean, what if I had dementia or Alzheimer's or something? The trackers are great for that too, because our older sister, she got West Nile virus, and she was early onset Alzheimer's. So from the time she got the virus, she did not know any of us, but she survived. But she lived in a nursing facility for at least 3 years after that. And many times, her and one of the other residents would sneak off and leave the facility. They would climb the fence. She was just going, and to her, she was just like a kid, but she was almost 80 years old. But, so yeah, they could have used a tracker on her, just because she would sneak off and she'd always take someone with her. So, but, trackers are good when you know they're there. But now I know and I still have the camera. So yeah, he could keep tracking me. Me and hubby need a tracker. Yeah, Joy, yes, especially if you get separated, like if you go to an amusement park or even antiquing. We used to go antiquing all the time, and we get in one of these big malls and we might go our separate ways looking around, and it takes a long time to find the other spouse. And some of that was before I even had an iPhone, so I couldn't even, we didn't even have a phone. And in the early days, then we finally got we got a bag phone, and then we got a flip phone. I love that Motorola flip phone. If I didn't have an iPhone, I would go back to that. But now that you have one, it's hard to go back, But it does Alive when I want it. So I've tried that twice, and it's done really good. Joy says we live in a tourist area. There's often crowds around us. Hey, Jeff, how are you? Good to see you. Oh, yes, the Razor phone, too. Yeah, that was another good one, Danny. Whoops, I knocked my camera around. But I don't know, for some reason, the flip phone was great. Donna says our sister walked 5 miles a day, and she continued walking even in the nursing home. Yes. Yeah. I always say, Jeff, that those smartphones, they're only as smart as the person working them. Exactly. You need my email information? Oh, I thought I sent it to you, Tony, but I'll send it again. I could have thought I did. I'll send it again for you. I appreciate you reminding me that. Okay. I think I ended up, I sent it to Boots and Bounty. I meant to send it to you also. I was supposed to send them both. But I'll take care of that today. Now that I've had 8 hours sleep, I'm feeling better today. I was just running on adrenaline yesterday. There was no way. Jeff says you're in trouble. Why are you in trouble? Because you haven't sent your information either. But yeah, when you go through so many time zones, Arizona, for us, Arizona doesn't, I don't believe they use a time zone at all. They just stay one time. So I went from Georgia to North Carolina, which is the same the same time zone, and then from Las Vegas, and then we went into Arizona. So then the time would, no wonder I was confused. Then the time zone changed again, because it, and then I went to California, so then I lost 3 hours, and then it's then when I start heading back, then it hits you. When losing it is not as hard as picking it back up for me. So yeah, so when I got home yesterday, I was beat. I hadn't eaten in 24 hours because well, almost. And it was just, it's like, I just really want to, you're in trouble if this phone is only smart, as smart as me. Oh, that, Jeff. Well, if I have problems with the phone, I go to my kids. My husband's usually working, so, and the kids are, they can explain something over the phone. Or I just take my computer, I take my phone down to their houses, and I ask them to fix it for me. Lower my camera. Yeah, I bumped it. I bumped it accidentally, so I moved it so you can barely see me. Um, yeah, and you can see, do you do barbecue or grill? Yes, we do, Tony. As a matter of fact, we have a nice rec tech, and usually if we're barbecuing, I take it down to my son's because he has my little rec tech down there because he has more room and we're remodeling. Yes, it better be some good fish. Well, we thought it should be some good fish. Okay, thanks, Tony. But you know, I said I think I would be just as happy. You made smiley face pancakes. Oh, those are so cute. I used to make those for my kids all the time. Um, if you pay $27 for a meal, you really want it to be a good meal, or you just feel cheated. But when the fish is greasy, and of course we got to say we ate at Gordon Ramsay's Fish and Chips, and it was on the promenade there near Harrah's, I think we were at. Um, and I mean, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and we enjoyed ourselves. Even if the meal didn't settle well, But I just hadn't had that kind of fish in a long time, and I didn't realize it was going to be quite so greasy. Um, Danny said, "I know I'm so cheap or frugal, as you call it." Yeah, I call it. I call it economizing because I hate to call myself cheap, but but I mean you have to do it somewhere. If you just threw money around and wasted the food, and I wasn't raised like that, and I know most of you weren't raised like that either. Um, I know some of you are from the other generation, the millennial generation, but so I kind of feel bad if you buy something and then you just really get disappointed. Now, at home, we have Popeye's chicken, and it's really good. But we had a couple of pieces of Popeye's chicken, and it was just kind of a disappointment with that, too. Some of it has to do with the price you pay. So when you pay that price, you really expect a good meal. But we weren't, I don't know, just seems like maybe we just weren't making the right choices, but it just felt like by the time you go through the hassle of the lines, oh my gosh, the lines to get stuff is unreal. By the time you do all that, you're tired of waiting anyway, and if something goes wrong with your ticket, then it's even more frustrating, and then it just kind of spoils your whole meal because you've gone through all this. And so we decided to walk around and throw a little bit of money in the one arm bandits. And so yeah, I didn't come home broke, but that was so like I said, I might have been even, but I didn't come home broke. But now that I'm home, we've had rain. I don't know about y'all, but there was an inch in my I have one of those 4-inch rain gauges, big tall things, and there was an inch in there, and I meant to pour it out before I left. Donna said we saw a lot of bare body parts and many homeless, just strange people all around the strip. Yeah, I was really disappointed about some of the areas were just really dirty, and the way people dress, I should be not surprised, but some of it's offensive. And I try to look the other way, but once it's imprints in your brain, you can't unsee it. And so, yeah, it's a little bit odd. But anyway, we got rain. When I came back, everything is so pretty and green. And it was 3 inches in that. So it had rained 2 inches while I was gone that week. Well, yesterday alone, last night, we have another inch of rain. So, needless to say, the grass is good, the pastures are green, so at least the animals are going to get. Yeah, it is pretty rough, Danny. But now New Orleans was pretty rough too the last time I went, but I accidentally got there on the weekend that it was a Mardi Gras in September. It was a different kind of Mardi Gras. And I was not used to. Yeah, I've been sheltered. I think I've really been sheltered. Some of this stuff is like, whoa, they dress like that, or they go in public like that. I know that sounds a little naive for someone my age, but you know, we live on a farm now, and we don't get out and we don't see that kind of stuff. And when you go into the city, you see a lot more things than you want to see. And I was glad that I didn't have any of my little grandkids there, because I would be walking around with my hand over their eyes, because it was like, oh my gosh, I can't unsee that. Don't like to. Oh, Joy said she'd like to see the neon, but that was all. Oh, I got her. I'll show y'all. I'll do a little video, a little photo slideshow for you. Some of the pictures that I took and some of the pictures that my kids took. Um, so we did do a little bit of sightseeing, and I did get some pictures of right at dawn, when the neon was still on, but you could see the sun was coming over. Hey, Old Sweets Farm. So glad you came in. So, at night, Las Vegas is beautiful. I mean, the neon lights and everything. And it was all lit up when we came out of the musical that we saw. So if you ever get a chance to see Menopause, the musical, and it does cover all aspects of menopause, what a lady will go through from the time it all starts till it ends. And but yeah, if you ever get a chance to see that, that was totally just so funny, so funny. And it was really good, and they've been going 16 years. It's hard to believe one show has been going that long. Yes, Neon at Dusk was pretty too. Yeah, Donna's going to send me some pictures for the slideshow, because she took pictures also. So everyone's pictures that we took of some of our family events, and like I said, I'll try to not show the faces so much. Oh, that's why people are like you to spend so much in Vegas, and they must have an awesome shows. Yeah, the last time I was in Las Vegas, and Donna took me to that one too. I didn't see Mamma Mia. We saw the Phantom of the Opera, and the opera was amazing too, and it was very good. And the costumes, because they had fabulous costumes, and but the Menopause was really just like everyday normal folk, and one of them was dressed to look. Oh, you saw Blue Man Group? Oh, Danny, that I heard that was really good too. One of the ladies was dressed like Betty White, with the little pearls, and she had the same do, and the little dresses that all were one color with the little jackets, and she was that. And at one time, her dress flipped up, and she had on those long blue Dola ride. And one of the ladies was dressed like a 70s hippie, and one was dressed like a businesswoman, and one was dressed like, oh, she was an actress. So they each had parts, and they did a lot of clothes changes and ads, and added different things. But it was so funny, and we just needed to laugh. And sometimes in situations like We went there for a celebration of life, and you know, sometimes you just have to, you know, see something that just kind of gives you a laugh. Everybody needs to laugh every day. I did sit on the, I guess, a veranda or porch, my sister-in-law's porch, and it overlooks the Colorado River. And that was so nice and calming. I can understand why my brother liked to sit out there and watch the Colorado River just flowing. And they had ducks they were feeding, and Canadian geese, and so I mean it was really nice and quiet. I love water rushing. That was really amazing. And he didn't get to spend but about 4 months at this house, but his room, they had fixed up his room for recuperating from his heart surgery, and it was like a little apartment, and it had all the things that he loved, his momentums. And I think in my last life, for those that didn't see it, I showed the family quilt that I did not know he had. Hey, David, how are you? Hadn't seen you in a while. Hope Florida's good for you. So I did show that quilt, and it was quilted by my grandmother and my dad. It was layered. The original quilt was much older. It could have even originated from my grandmother's mother. But the original one was hand pieced and hand quilted. The second layer was, the blocks were sewn together, but it was hand tacked, which is another way to make quilts for those who don't make quilts. And it's basically you just put a thick thread or yarn in between each block, and you bring it up and you tie it just to knot it, and that's what holds on the second layer of the quilt. But he had this quilt, and he kept this quilt for since he was 18 years old, and he was 76. So he kept this quilt all this time, cherished it, and we were so excited to see it. Danny says, funny story, once when I was in high school, we took an inflatable pool blow up, put in all our camping gear. Oh, didn't read all of it before it went away. But, oh yeah, it's fun doing all that. It's fun. Now, my sister, she's on here, Donna. They are going to Mammoth in a couple of days. They already have either friends or family up there on my brother-in-law's side. Sorry about the traffic. They get bears in their camp all the time. Honestly, I'm not sure if I could camp with bears. Joy says, I have 3 quilts, 1 for my grandmother, 2 for my great-grandmothers. I was blessed they gave them to me because something, I didn't see the last, I can't read that fast. This thing goes away quickly. I have many quilts in my trunks, and they belong to my husband's grandmother and great-grandmother also. We found them in the house, just stuffed down into a closet when we moved his mother back to Georgia with us. So we were able, oh, you can click the box and it will make them come back. Click the box. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yes, the gift of a quilt is priceless. So we're going to take this quilt, and Donna has it. She's going to make photographs of different areas of the quilt, and she's going to frame those pictures, probably 8x10s or maybe even larger, but she's going to frame those, and each one of the siblings are going to get a nice piece of the quilt without cutting the quilt up or destroying the quilt. We are going to touch the screen to see the comments. Oh, I see that. And then I see the little box there. I've never used the phone like this. Before, when I used it, I had a monitor behind it so I could read it. So yeah, we will have pictures of the quilt. We'll get pictures of the quilt in my slideshow also, so y'all can get an idea of this. And it's actually in pretty good shape. It only has 2 areas that are the block is torn. That's how we could see what was underneath it. So, but it was his prize and possession from the family. We didn't have a lot of things that we brought from Oklahoma. It's awesome to have quilts from my grandmother, grandma, and great grandma, and I'm blessed to have them. And my mother eventually had a sewing machine, but she made our clothes, and either out of old clothes of hers or flour sacks. And so many of the photographs when I'm younger, you can tell those are flour sack clothes. And she made them, and if they were still good, then she passed them on to the next child. Well, the next child for me was boys, so she made the shorts though that the boys could wear the shorts. They didn't look like girl shorts, they just looked like trunks almost. And she made these cute little tops that look like what you would wear exercising these days. They made these little tops, and in some pictures I didn't have top on at all, but I was, 5 or 6 years old. But, you know, I didn't have a top. I just had the shorts. So, but my mother did sew by hand. But she told me many years ago when we were doing genealogy that my dad is the one who quilted, not my mother. She said, "Oh, I didn't have time for quilting." She said, "I had little ones at home and I did all I could do to take care and feed and clothe them and take care of the gardens." The men went out and they did the fishing and the hunting and they brought all that in, and then she had to clean them all. So she did a lot of work and she took care of the family garden with us children helping. But my dad took care of his flower garden. He didn't take care of the vegetable garden. So, but they were, they had specific things that they did back then. And, they had chores. I mean, he did some things, she did some things, and some things they never both did. So, unlike today, my brother did all the grocery shopping for my sister-in-law. He started out doing it, and he would be the one to go to town or to go to the store. And so he picked up all the groceries. Rarely did they shop together unless they were at Costco or one of the big box stores just happened to stop and they were both together. But he enjoyed shopping. He liked shopping. He shopped for deals, and he was very wise at shopping. For somebody who started out with absolutely a few dollars in their pocket, he did very well. He was a self-made man, and he did not just hand out money. He wanted to know the reason you wanted it. He had terms for paying it back. There was never any freebies for us. We didn't ask for any. And if he had terms on paying it back, then we met his terms. And that's how we learned, and that's how we taught our children. Nothing is free, and anyone who gets it free doesn't appreciate it to begin with. So that's all you can say about that. So, well, it has been an hour, and I guess I have kept you guys long enough. Be looking for my slideshow, and I'll add some absolutely gorgeous pictures of the flowers and everything that we did along the way, some of our sightseeing. So I'll add all of that, and I appreciate all of you coming to welcome me back home. It's good to be home. It was nice visiting, but it's always good to be home and I had my children with me most of the time, so it was great. So we got to spend some good time, and I appreciate it. Bye, Joy. Glad you came. I'm glad everybody came. And I'll see you all next week if I don't see you before then. Sorry you got here late. My mom's a quilter, and it's fun to hear about the stories of quilting and the ancestors. Yes, it was absolutely fabulous. Just what they did, the quilting bees, and my grandmother would lower the quilting frame. It wasn't any of those fancy little loop ones. She would lower that rectangle quilting frame, and when they were done, they raised it back up out of the way. When they had time to quilt, they lowered it back, sat around in these ladder back chairs. I mean, it's fabulous to hear the older folks, and I call the older folks older than me, but I love to hear those kind of stories, definitely. But I'm glad you came in, and hopefully I have some interesting things to show you in the slideshow. I think you'll really enjoy some of the sights that we saw, and the decorations was absolutely out of this world. My sister-in-law did a wonderful job with it, and it was so good to see all the brothers and sister and the siblings and the husbands and spouse and the children, cousins, uncles. So I got to see a lot of people I had not seen in many years, and that was a gift in itself, also. So I guess we will see you later. Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming. Bye, Danny.